The Last Danfo? The Danfo shouldn't have been running that late. Everyone in Oshodi knew that once the clock hit 11:30 p.m., the buses disappeared, the conductors vanished, and the streets belonged to shadows. But that night, a yellow Danfo with peeling paint and a cracked windshield rolled up to the curb like it had somewhere urgent to be. The driver didn't speak. He just tapped the side of the bus twice. Bam, bam. And the door slid open. 7 passengers climbed in. A woman carrying a sleeping child, 2 mechanics still in their oily overalls, a student with earphones, a trader clutching a bag of tomatoes, an elderly man with tribal marks, and a young journalist named Kemi. She hesitated before entering. Something about the bus felt wrong. The interior lights flickered, the seat smelled like damp earth instead of sweat and diesel. And the driver's eyes, she noticed, never blinked. But she boarded anyway. The door slammed shut. By morning, only the driver returned. And he was shaking so violently the police had to hold him upright. "They are gone," he whispered. "All of them. Something took them. Something that wasn't human." The officer scoffed. People gathered, phones recorded. But nobody in that crowd knew what really happened inside that bus. And before the investigation ended, everything would change forever. Kemi had always been drawn to danger. Not because she was reckless, but because she grew up watching her mother survive it. Her mother sold roasted corn by the roadside, dodging buses, insults, and the kind of men who believed poverty made women invisible. Kemi, her mother would say, wiping sweat from her brow, "This world is not safe. But you must never let fear be the thing that decides your life." Her father died when she was 9, stabbed during a street fight he wasn't part of. Wrong place, wrong time. Kemi remembered her mother sitting by the window afterward, staring at the street long after midnight, whispering prayers that sounded more like apologies. Kemi learned early that life could snatch people without warning. Maybe that's why she became a journalist. Maybe that's why she boarded the Danfo that night. Maybe that's why she didn't run when the bus door locked itself from the inside. Nobody knew the sacrifices she carried. Nobody knew she worked 2 jobs to support her mother's failing eyesight. Nobody knew she slept in the newsroom some nights because she couldn't afford transport home. Nobody knew she had been investigating strange disappearances around Oshodi. People vanishing between bus stops, leaving behind only shoes, bags, or a single scream someone thought they imagined. Nobody knew she had received an anonymous tip earlier that day. If you want the truth, take the Last Danfo. Nobody knew she boarded that bus with a hidden recorder in her pocket. Nobody knew she was ready to risk her life for answers. The betrayal came from someone she trusted. Her colleague, Seyi, had been helping her investigate the disappearances. He encouraged her, shared files, even accompanied her on interviews. She thought he was loyal. But Seyi had a secret. He was being paid by a powerful transport union leader, a man who didn't want anyone digging into the rumors about night buses and passengers that never reached their destination. When Seyi realized Kemi was getting too close, he licked her movements. He told them she planned to board the Last Danfo. He didn't know what the union leader truly believed. He didn't know the man was not trying to protect his business, but a secret older than Lagos itself. He didn't know the Danfo wasn't just a bus. He didn't know what lived inside it. The crisis began 10 minutes after the bus left Oshodi. The passengers noticed first. The child woke up screaming. The elderly man began muttering prayers. The student's earphones went silent, even though his phone was still on. The trader's tomatoes began to rot in her bag. The mechanic smelled something metallic, like blood. Kemi felt the air change. It grew thick, heavy, white. The driver didn't blink, didn't speak, didn't breathe normally. Then the bus lights went off. Total darkness. Someone shouted, someone prayed, someone tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. The bus kept moving. Faster, faster, faster. Kemi's recorder captured everything. The screams, the pounding, the whispers. Then the bus stopped. Not gradually. Violently. The passengers were thrown forward. The child wailed.
The elderly man shouted, there is no human in this bus. And then the roof of the Danfo began to bend inward. Like something was pressing down from above. Something massive, something big, something holy. Kemi grabbed the jack, held him close, and whispered, "Don't." But she looked, and what she saw made her blood freeze. The hand, if it could be called a hand, slid down the windshield. Long, thin, chunky in so many pieces, nails scratching the glass like chocolate board. The passenger screamed. The driver finally spoke. "Focus," he whispered. I couldn't stop it. The roof talk. Darkness swept. The truth came from the only survivor. The driver was found wandering barefoot near my tour door, clothes torn, eyes wide. I kept repeating the same thing. It wasn't human. It wasn't human. It wasn't human. The police dismissed it. The union denied everything. The public moved on. But Kemi's recorder suffered pity. Her mother found it in her bag when the police returned her belongings. She pressed play. She heard her daughter's voice, her daughter's screams, her daughter's breath. She heard the thing on the roof. She heard the truth. And she took the recorder to the press. The reversal was explosive. The audio went viral. The government launched an investigation. The union leader was arrested. He confessed. The driver was taken into protective custody. And the disappearances stopped. Not because the creature was caught, but because the Last Danfo was bored. Every piece of it, every dot, every seat, every memo. Kemi's mother stood at the site, clutching her daughter's press card, tears streaming down her face. My child, Oshodi. Kemi's legacy charts public course. Her story inspired new safety laws. Her recordings became part of journalism training. Her mother received support from organizations she never knew existed. Her name became synonymous with courage. And every night, her mother lit a candle by the door. Not in grief, but in pride. Her daughter didn't die in vain. She died telling the truth. Sometimes the mortals were fear. I mean the ones hiding in the dark, not the ones who ignore in daylight. Sometimes the bravest people are the ones who never get to tell their own stories. And sometimes the last person board becomes the journey that changes a city forever. When the world tries to bury the truth, let your voice be the thing that refuses to disappear. The story is shocking. Follow Motherland, where African stories both hot and refuse to forget.